At the end of this video, you'll be able to perform superbly on cue, whether pre-recorded or live, on camera or a microphone. You will have a proven 6-step formula in the palm of your very hand. All you have to do is watch this video in full so you don't miss a step. Hi, I'm Velody and I help community leaders, CEOs and entrepreneurs share their message more confidently in minutes. These are methods I learned from frontline experience in sales and show business, two very challenging arenas, I think you'll agree. If you're excited to fast track your success in podcasts, live streaming, interviews and more, go ahead and click the like button. The Screen Success Formula is made up of 6 steps. Now, these all begin with the letter V. Of course, I've chosen the V purely coincidentally and because they work, obviously. This video is part 2 of a 2-part series. It follows on from last week's Being a Confident Podcast Guest. And as you can see here, it was ranked number 1 when you search for Be a Confident Podcast Guest. So you'll want to check out that video straight after this one. I'll put a link for it at the end of this video. Today's video is more nuanced, it's a little bit more advanced. Stick with it as I promise you'll be primed for success in no time at all. The formula is extremely powerful, so let's get stuck in. 6 V's of Screen Success Formula. Begin, of course, with step 1, voice. Obvious, right? I'm not a voice coach or a speech therapist, but I do deal with what's going on in your mind when nerves strike. 2 quick tips that I heard from a vocal coach. The first one is to hum for 10 seconds. It's quite calming and it's fun. Let's try it together. So here we go. Take a deep breath because you're going to be not breathing for 10 seconds. Okay, we're going to count together. So, that's quite nice actually, wasn't it? Quite nice and calming. You don't have to hold your hands up like you can, just look at your watch, of course. Second, you can try gargling, Sanderson's Throat Specific. It's got antibacterial properties and it was manufactured first in Manchester over 150 years ago. And that's my hometown, of course. And singers and performers have been relying on it ever since to give them a boost before they go on stage. So again, it's a gargle only product. Sanderson's Throat Specific. No, I'm not on a commission, but you never know, we might put where you can buy some should you wish to try it in the show notes. All these things play a role in the way that you prepare ahead of your podcast interview, live interview, radio interview, Zoom conference, live stream, etc. And we do these things because you need to have a plan so that when the red light comes on, when that record button starts to flash, right, you know you've got this because you've got this plan. Dealing with the voice, let's say you are softly spoken and one of the reasons that you're a bit nervous about going live, being recorded, being beamed to the nation, is that you're worried that you won't sound powerful enough, or you won't sound confident enough, or you won't sound important enough, right? And that you'll need to project this much louder voice to be taken seriously, right? But actually the opposite can be true. Being gentle, being methodical, being purposeful, being that quieter volume can sometimes actually draw people in a little bit. So let's take Eckhart Tolle. Very gentle man, very softly, calmly spoken. And he's one of the most confident people on the planet, okay? And that's because he's comfortable in his own skin. Now, if you're a fan of Russell Brand, you've probably heard of Eckhart Tolle before. Of course, he wrote the famous book, The Power of Now. If you're ever worried that you're not going to come across powerful enough, just breathe deeply, do your 10-second humming, and be more Eckhart, okay? That book is a great book to find some peace in this challenging, noisy world. Pro tip with your voice as well. You want to always speak like you're speaking to one person. So always imagine that you're having a fireside chat with someone who you find and who finds you really interesting and helpful. It's the trick used by most of the famous radio presenters in the early radio era. It's not about becoming an entertainer if you're not. Again, have that fireside chat with someone who you can help and you'll be set. Now, step 2 is V for value. Okay, now I always lead with value, and if you know me, if you've been watching these videos or you've seen me live before, you'll know that I'm mega into value. But what does it mean in this context? Because again, you've got an interview coming up, you're a bit nervous, why would value help you prepare? So this is why. Quick note about value. Let's say you manufacture masks, face masks, okay? Pretty relevant right now, okay? And let's say that now you're getting some media exposure, right? Because of obviously the shortages. Now, the questions aren't going to be, what color is it? What is it made of? Right? And all these kind of things. The questions are going to be, will it shield me correctly? And when can you deliver? Right? It's not going to be purely price driven. Okay? So again, value. If you focus on the unique gift that you have for your clients, your community, your shareholders, your stakeholders, and you speak naturally to them and about them and irrelevant to them, you'll succeed because you'll naturally shine without as much effort as you think. You're going to be a guest on a show. That show has a particular type of audience. The show has a particular mission or fan base. They're committed to doing the podcast for certain reasons, okay? And so you want to be of value to their purpose too. Also, what else can you do as well as the interview so that the interview doesn't seem such a big thing? What can you do value-wise for the show host before and after the show? And that puts, again, less pressure on the interview itself because you've got a bit of a value proposition in terms of helping them build their audience or something else that you can bring. So again, value from their perspective, and it takes you out of worrying about yourself so much. That brings me next on to step 3, which is of course V for viewers, also known as audience, listeners, etc. Okay. Rather than thinking just how you're going to help the show host, think about that person in the audience that has been brightened, their day has been brightened because they've heard your words, your powerful story, your powerful vision, your struggle, your business frustrations, your business success, right? Think about what you could do for them so that they are motivated to get in touch with you or your mission. So it could be, like I say, it could be a small discount code, it could be some sort of social media thing, it could be a social media share. It's really anything that you feel that you can bring. And if you don't have any infrastructure, if you don't have a blog post, if you don't have analytics in place, you don't have landing pages, you don't have all this kind of stuff, right? If you're maybe early on, maybe you just come up with 1 or 2 really useful sayings, really powerful one-liners. Okay, and we'll come to more about that in a bit, even if it's just some wise words. So again, think you want a little nugget, a little something to take with you as a gift that you give to that audience every time. Now we're on to step 4. This is where we're getting a little bit, you have to bear with me on this one. Okay, now. So step 4 is V for Velcro. Right? Sounds weird, right? So what does Velcro do? It meshes, right? It meshes, it sticks, and it stays, right? So how does that relate to being a guest? What it means is, what I want you to do is think about how your message, your product, your service, your charity foundation, whatever it is, how can you say something, how can you bring with you something that really sticks in the mind of the listeners? You don't have to create anything as catchy as this, whichever side it is. You don't have to have anything as catchy as this.
If you are short, if you are tall, you ain't been working out at all. He'll be there for you. If you are short, if you are tall, you ain't been working out at all, but he'll be there for you. Come on now. Ooh, yes. Ooh, yes. Ooh, yes. Fitness.
Right? It's a feeling you want them to have. So really think through what impression you want to leave them with. What do you want to stick in their ears, in their mind, or in their heart when they finish listening to you? So really spend some time thinking on that. When you do this, you truly further your mission, you truly build your brand, and also you may get bigger and better opportunities as well. Now I know what you're thinking. You're hoping that this interview will be like the last one, right? You're probably definitely not wanting to queue up loads of other interviews, because if you were, you wouldn't be here learning on how to be a more confident guest. And you're probably thinking that you want this whole thing over, right? Over as quickly as possible. Let's just get through it. Okay, let's say you do the exact opposite of Velcro, right? You're as boring, as unprepared, and as dreary as you possibly can be. Don't really feel very good, does it, when you say it that way? If you've got a mission that will help people, you've got this. If this is making sense for you, go ahead and type a yes in the comments below. If you're enjoying this content, don't forget, click the subscribe button and the bell too. You'll never have to search around finding this channel again. It will magically appear to you when we post videos every Thursday. And now back to the show. This is the 5th step. This is where we get into the really interesting territory. Now this V is V for veracity. Okay, so this is all about truthfulness, accuracy, and the big buzzword we have now everywhere, authenticity. Okay, everybody knows about photographic filters, bot accounts, clickbait, right? We're all starting to get pretty savvy on that. Okay, so this is where your true authority, as I say, the facts, the knowledge, the experience, the stories, the mission, the vision that you have must really come to light. And again, one of the reasons you may be feeling nervous is that you feel you've got some kind of imposter syndrome, right? You're going to be found out. If only they knew, right? I want you to be ferociously you, right? So as long as you're speaking truth, as long as you're speaking facts that you know, knowledge that you know, as long as you're speaking from your heart, your soul, your research, right, then you can never get caught out in a lie. You're just speaking about what you know. You don't need to pretend to be anything you're not. You don't need to pretend to be an entertainer. You don't need to pretend to be a doctor or a philosopher or a scientist if you're not. You're just providing that human interest story or that perspective or that knowledge or facts or industry know-how. Make sense? A way to get a bit of perspective is to think in the grand entirety of existence. What is one wrong word on a podcast? What does that really mean anyway? Right? So don't beat yourself up. Don't take it too personally. And along with all the other things that you've learned in this video and the next one, you're going to get this, okay? Last but not least, and I think this is probably going to be the most difficult one for most of you, but essentially it's the most important. And this step 6 is V for verdict. What is the verdict? How did it go? That is right, you got to watch that whole thing start to finish with a notebook in hand, right? And what went well? What was a disaster? Hair in my face. What went well? What was a disaster? What stuck in your mind? You know, what was your Velcro moment? What was the damn, I got that mic drop moment, right? And what was the tumbleweed, right? You know, you need to do this, guys, and this is the way that you grow. It's the way that you realize it's actually not as bad as you thought. So the V for the verdict, you must take notes and you must work out how you can incrementally improve next time. So as I say, what's in it for you? Your mission is built, your brand is built, your company has more brand awareness. Your foundation can get more donations. Your not-for-profit has more authority, right? There's so much in it for you when you capture these opportunities. And I really hope you found that the importance of getting these, all the V's, okay? It's really important that you, again, step outside of yourself, give yourself a break, hum for the 10 seconds, gargle, breathe deeply, and like I say, watch the other video